The college football experience, college football playoff bombs down under episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Bet Rivers. Claim your risk-free bet up to $500 at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetRivers. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetRivers. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time's got, last minute tickets at the lowest price guaranteed, and it is the perfect holiday gift. Download the Game Time app today. Use that promo code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
This is Mike Leach, head football coach at Mississippi State, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to transfer portal season. Welcome to the college football experience. College football playoff bombs down under. We got a lot to talk about here. In case you didn't hear my 35-hour rant don't worry about it. You're here now. Buckle up, all right? If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, that's fair. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. Would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
Oh, what a day. What a day college football had yesterday. I am joined. We have the bet detective on the case. All right. I am joined by the host of the Bottom Line Bombs podcast, which this is part of the C block. We have the C block rolling. Next up after this is the Bottom Line Bombs. They call him the man in the box. Give it up for CJ Sullivan. How are you, pal?
Great, Dundee. I don't want to make you repeat any opinion. So if you will, why don't you go ahead and switch your decisions, I'm thinking, on this episode about the college football rankings. Maybe you're pro Alabama.
4 teams, they got it perfect.
I love it. I mean, there's just nothing.
This is like watching it's like watching like an election in fucking Haiti. You know what I mean? It's
this is everything college football is. I usually found nothing duller than the conversations about what, like having the weekly voting of what the committee is saying, like all year, season long, like what are the rankings gonna be? Who gives a shit? The only one that matters is the last one.
And it's all corrupt.
And they're going to do whatever they want. You know what I mean? And not whatever they want, whatever ESPN and Fox tells them to do.
Yeah.
It's 1,000% run by ESPN and Fox. And anyone supporting this decision for Alabama works for ESPN or Fox. That's it. And it's completely flagrant. Like it's just so out in the open. They have a monopoly.
Yeah.
And they run college. It's just hilarious how they run the sport.
And you're under this illusion that, hey, you win your conference championship. Now I'll say this. I am outraged because I think, I love this sport. I still, even with all this, there's always been major flaws with college football. Always been major flaws. Yeah. Whether it's BCS, go back and research the national champion. Like, lo and behold, everyone's like, well, Alabama's going to be playing for their, 50th national championship. It's not 50th, first off, but I'm saying my point is, if you actually dig into it, there's a lot of phony national championships. So it's always kind of had this element to it. Texas has some bullshit ones. There's a lot of bullshit ones out there. I care a lot about the sport and I care about it getting better. So I'd like to think that, I was disappointed because, and I grew up hating Florida State. I actually grew up liking Alabama. People don't, in case you don't know, like Jay Barker years, George Teague, that was a team that was one of my favorite teams. Yes, I hated Florida State growing up, dude. That was like the team. Remember 93? 93.
Yeah, of course.
So that's if there is one laughing element to this of in 93, Notre Dame beat Florida State. And they both had the same record at the end of the year.
But
and
Notre
Florida
Dame,
State got to play for the national championship, and Notre Dame didn't.
Because Notre Dame lost to Boston College.
Yeah, even though they had a head-to-head.
Right.
And Boston College, don't think of Boston College today. Like, that was Tom Clough from Boston College.
That was good Boston College team. Yeah, it was on a field goal, missed field goal.
They had fucking Mark Chimera. They had
for
fucking
sure.
Hasselbeck.
They were ranked.
Yeah. No, actually, that was probably Glenn Foley, I think, that year.
Cherry Hill East Zone. Foley.
Yeah. They had a good team. So, like, you know,
But
that is funny. You get a taste of that medicine, but because I feel like those are the ones. But obviously, you had the UCFs. I even think in this year you have a lot of other cases, like the fact that the SEC does an 8-game conference schedule deprives us from seeing Georgia and Alabama in the regular season.
Yeah, they
And
play one less game. I mean, it's just the way they talk about the SEC. They almost say, "Well, SEC is the best conference. They're championship people." First of all, they're not the best conference.
Definitely not this year.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, historically, sure, if you want to throw that in there, but that's fine. And even now, it's just all created by the BCS, which was created by the SEC.
Yeah.
I mean, but.
Well, the Big Ten was the worst, in my opinion, the worst Power 5 in the entire nation this year.
Yeah.
And they, if you look at,
well, that's why I love when there's so many arguments are so flawed. It's just, it's hysterical. You know what I mean? Because they're saying like, all right, an undefeated team but their offense looks bad. Well, fucking Michigan's looks worse to me. You want to throw a team out there? McCarthy, they barely had 10 points versus Iowa. They were gifted that fucking series. I trust whoever the hell Florida State throws out there more than McCarthy.
Well, and if they're gonna go with the injury element, I think this is hilarious because if they're like, no, Jordan Travis is injured. First off, Florida State played with their third string quarterback. They would have had Tate Roderbaker back, who's actually 2-0 now. But
they're acting like their third string quarterback's going to start 2 months from now, whenever the fuck this game is.
Yeah.
Like the game's a month from now,
dude.
He's in a concussion protocol. He's not going to be playing there, and they got by and they got the win versus a good Louisville team.
And they don't even mention that Texas has 7 wins over backup quarterbacks.
I mean.
If you're going to look at this, look at it all the way here. Or how about the fact that Alabama LSU, they knocked out Jalen Daniels. He missed the whole second fucking half.
Right.
Might have won the game there had you had maybe the best quarterback or the best player in college football this year.
And not to mention that Florida State pounded LSU.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely pounded
on a neutral
them.
site.
Right, on a neutral site, a lot more than how Alabama beat them. But anyway.
It's just so ridiculous, man.
If
you can't see the corruption, and anyone, and I've argued this forever, and this is the best part about this.
Mm-hmm.
I hate these 4-team defenders saying, well, the regular season's a playoff. Well, guess what? The entire ACC season, useless. All 14 teams, useless.
Yeah.
The Alabama-Texas matchup in week 2, useless, right? Why even play it? It didn't matter.
They should just go by recruiting.
Yeah.
Just whoever has the best recruiting class, whoever looks the best.
Whoever's got to deal with ESPN and Fox.
Someone had a great line. The games matter. The results don't.
Yeah.
It's just how you look, how you look in the games. So I'm talking about these ESPN guys defending him is so funny. Like Greg McElroy was out there defending it.
Yeah.
He's first of all, he said a tip of the cap to the committee. He said, so my tip of the, do you former fucking awful Alabama
that was the best part is he goes, Jordan Travis is injured. So they got the bet, I don't think with Tate Roderbaker, they could win the national championship. What? You've never seen an average quarterback win a national championship?
I know, right?
That's you, motherfucker.
Yeah. You ever see a terrible quarterback on a good team win a title?
That was hilarious. I'm like, am I really hearing this right now? Like, you are Tate Roderbaker.
Right. Good God. That's so funny. But there's so many like things that I love when these committees, like everything they say, like, well, we had to look at, the eyeball test and, but in strength of schedule, then they do things like this where they put like Liberty ahead of SMU for that bowl game. And they go, well,
they're being logical then. They go, what they say in there exactly?
They say, well, Liberty, you got to play whoever's in front of you because they had the worst schedule.
All they did was win. That's what they said.
Yeah, all they did was win.
Yeah, they're like, Liberty, all they did was win.
But they had the worst schedule. You got to play who's in front of you. Now they got to play. So it matters for them, but it doesn't matter for Florida State. Right.
But there, if you want to dig deeper, and this goes back to the powers that be, and this is probably why the ACC got shafted. If you ever looked into, there's a great book. I'm drawing the blank on the name right now. On what really happened with. Look, SMU was cheating.
Yeah.
In the 80s, Pony Express days, but Texas A&M and Texas were cheating, and they kind of threw the death penalty on SMU because they were threatened by how, like, they were all doing the same level of cheating.
Yeah. They just didn't like how.
I'm actually team SMU on this one, because when you dive into that, like the governor of Texas had ties to I think Texas or Texas A&M, and it's
absolutely.
like he was working with the NCAA.
That was their
Like,
crime. They were threatening them.
Yeah, well, Dickerson even says, he's like, A&M brought me that gold car. It wasn't SMU, right? So they've always been threatened by SMU's money, and I think the ACC adding SMU, obviously. And I think you're seeing it here. I find it convenient that they, Texas has a lot of fucking power, dude.
It's crazy. I was just there. I was just in Dallas. I was just in front of SMU.
Yeah.
I was there. I was.
See where JFK got you?
Actually, I didn't make it down there. Somebody else was. That was talked about for a trip. They have a museum. It's great. You can still see the shrapnel and the bullet brains, and they're all.
What do you think, second shooter?
I didn't pay for that tour, but you got the second shooter tour. But I was there and on SMU's campus. Congratulations on her win. Too bad it meant nothing.
Yeah.
And you're not playing. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's my favorite thing, is like following these fucking people that cover the sport, and they're like, it's the greatest regular season. And I'm like, no, it is not.
Right.
Like, I love college football. I think they have rivalries and passion that cannot be duplicated in any sport on the fucking planet, or at least in America. Right. And I will always love that. I will love the innovation of the sport, as far as I think you see the most innovation. You may maybe argue high school, but I'm saying high school, you have players like me that played, it's not going to work out. But I love it. But at the same time, it's so incredibly flawed that you get to sit there and say that the regular season, we've seen this so many years. I mean, I remember, I literally could pick up, I could go through an encyclopedia of college football and just pick the year and say, no, the regular season didn't matter for this game here. You know what I mean? Or this game here.
What's amazing is everyone's like, okay, there's 5 conferences and 4 slots, which is obviously not good math.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like
stupid from the start. Yep.
And this is literally the first, and then I'm saying this is the first time they've had to make a decision, an actual tough decision. Usually it's been made for them. They've been lucky. You know what I mean?
No, but they've still fucked up those decisions.
For sure.
Yeah, and there's been no consistency on that. Like putting Ohio State over TCU that one year.
But this time is easy too. It was easy too.
This was the easiest one.
Right. This
was the easiest one.
But because of ESPN and the SEC, that's why they had to fucking make this controversial decision. And that's literally the only thing about it.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, man, I lost all respect. I mean, for Kirk Herbstreit, he's such a suit. Yeah. He's just going to go along with whatever they tell him to do. There's no independent thinking there. There's no, it just goes right along.
I swear to God, Booger McFarland was the only one trying.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah, because you know why? Because no one ESPN gives him the memos of what they're doing. And it's like, what about Booger? He's Booger. No one pays attention to him anyway.
I'd say Dan Mullen also. Dan Mullen.
Yeah.
But Dan Mullen's like an old football coach. Right. He's like, what are you going to fire me? I mean, I have a shit ton of money.
He doesn't give a shit. Yeah. Booger at least is on ESPN personality, bouncing around there. They like him, and you can see that the other guys look at him like, Booger, what are you doing? This is how
you're off script.
Yeah.
You're off script.
You see how we're getting paid here? Yeah. Herbstreit's defending is absolutely insane. And then that tweet about him with Florida State from 2014 came out. But he's like, calm down. If you're undefeated, get in. What's the problem? Then, oh my God, it's hilarious.
Oh man, what a world we live in. What a world. So now here's what I love too. Well, don't worry, you're gonna get Florida State, Georgia in the bowl game. Huh. Have you followed bowl games over the past 5 years?
I know. And people are using that as a reason why, because the line's 14. Like, well, does that show that Florida State and they bring? First of all, you don't know who's gonna fucking play. Who's gonna give a fuck? Right?
Like these kids can all have agents now. You already see today. Caleb Williams said he's not playing. I fully expect Keon Coleman, who's a projected top 15 pick at the wide receiver spot, to not play in this game. I expect Brock Bowers to probably not play in this game. shut the fuck up. If you're hanging on to the bowl games, and look, I love football. I'll watch any version of football.
Sure.
I'll fucking watch Japanese college football. You know what I mean?
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, I'll send you a few links on the internet. But that game shouldn't hold anything.
Right.
It shouldn't hold anything regarding the season because you're not going to see Florida State.
Oh, that's all bowl games. They're just exhibitions that happen. Like
they weren't always, but now
7 weeks after the fucking season.
Yeah.
If you're going to use that point spread for anything, well, then why don't you put Georgia in? Yeah. I think Georgia has a better case than fucking Alabama almost.
Yes. Hold on.
For God's sakes, if this is what you're going to use.
Alabama lost at home.
Right. By double digits.
Georgia lost at a neutral location.
And by the way, they should have reviewed that fourth down play.
That was definitely incomplete.
It was insane.
Definitely the biggest play of the game was definitely an incomplete pass. And that's another part. There's so many elements to this. So you have
toss fucking Oregon in there. If that's what we're going to do,
State,
right?
If
this is what we're going to do, if you're just going to use
Liberty,
fucking, but if you're just going to go by point spreads, and like I said, why play the game? Just recruiting class and talent.
No. Look, if Washington did like the SEC, if the Pac-12 did like the SEC, and we didn't see Washington, Oregon in the regular season, and then we saw it in the playoffs, you saw it. I'm sorry, in the Pac-12 championship, then you'd be in a spot where you would say, hey, they only have one loss.
Yeah.
So why are they not?
And you can break down any of their wins. Like you're saying, people are going through Florida State. Oh, they're not the same team, even with Jordan Travis, and they did whatever. It was a questionable game versus Duke and Boston College like that. But you can go through that with Texas, with fucking Alabama. I mean,
yeah. Well, the committee said this was great too. The committee's like,
you do it with any team.
We know they're on their third string quarterback.
Right.
But we so that means they were looking, some of their statements were looking at the Florida game. Right.
So if you're looking at the Florida game, a 1 week sample.
Yeah. Where they won by double digits.
Yeah. Where they covered.
Came from behind. They were down 13-0 or 12-0.
Where they covered at Florida, a team that should have beat Missouri the week before. You have in the top 10.
Yes. And then that same day,
right,
New Mexico State as a 26-point dog wins by 21 at Auburn. And I'm sorry. That was the week before
that.
Yeah.
That same day, Alabama. That same
day, the Iron Bowl, Alabama needs a 4th and 31 to beat Auburn. What a fucking sham.
And they needed a fumbled punt just to get the ball there too, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, people forget about that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just everything. So that game doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
That terrible effort didn't matter.
No, Alabama's looked a lot better as the season's gone along. Right. Really? What the fuck game? Did you miss the biggest rivalry in the South? I mean, the Iron Bowl?
I swear to God, now we're just judging. Yeah, just judging the performance. I said, like, Michigan was just like Florida State versus Iowa. Their offense is just as bad.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Michigan should be
we can look at the Michigan thing and say, wait a second. You suspended their coach half the season.
Right.
That doesn't matter anything.
Nothing matters.
They canceled a game against UCLA. That doesn't matter, right?
Ratings matter. That's the only thing that matters. That runs the entire sport. It's insane.
Andrew B in the chat goes, I can't wait. Georgia stops Florida State, so all you will stop crying. Andrew B, I love you for checking out the show, but you're fucking crazy. No one's going to play. There's already players from Florida State in the fucking portal. If you're holding any logic
to
that
will mean nothing.
Yes.
The motivation for both teams, it means absolutely nothing compared to it. Won't justify any of this shit.
Andrew, you're killing me, buddy. You're killing me.
I love it, though.
Yeah.
But
like, have you watched any of the bowl games over the past 5 years, Andrew? Like, no, coaches aren't there. No, I'm not even talking head coaches. Position coaches aren't there, right? Players are in the portal.
That's my favorite when there's an entire new coaching regime change.
Well,
it's a different semester. Like people like fucking like graduated or they're ineligible.
Yeah, and it's
what
like
the hell's going on?
No one pays attention to the bowls. It makes no sense to hold like okay, Oregon State played Florida last year, right? Oregon State beat the piss out of Florida. Now I tend to think Oregon State might have won in the regular season against Florida. I don't know, but I also know that there was over 30 people that didn't play for Florida, right? Oregon State had a couple guys out, but it was like 2. So it's like, what are we doing here? What are you deducing from that? This is bullshit. This is a spring game. This is a fucking spring game. Yeah.
But to say that, I mean, you might as well just put Georgia in too. Put Ohio State and put Oregon in.
Yeah.
Oof. I mean, like at that point, like if you're just looking for the best games you're looking for, I mean, who cares?
Well, that's the thing is it's like, they're like, we got the 4 best teams. I'm like, no,
First of all, you don't have the 4 best teams.
Yes.
You're making up standards for it. You're blending in. Okay, we don't want bad ratings. Florida State, we want Alabama, but this thing also matters. They won a conference. You know what I mean? Like you're making whatever the argument is for you. You're going to bend it that way.
Can anyone out there tell you definitively that Texas would beat Oregon if they played tomorrow? I don't think so.
No.
Can anyone out there tell you that Texas would beat Ohio State if they played tomorrow? I can't say that with certainty. I think that's a close game. So to me, this is just all.
Why don't they
corruption.
just lie? If I'm Florida State, why don't they should just lie? Like, you know what? Jordan Travis might be healthy.
He's fine.
He's going to play in January, wherever the fuck this game is. Just lie about your injuries. Why come out there?
They should have. How
about Jordan Travis's tweet? I wish I broke my leg earlier. Which is like,
shout out. Yeah.
I mean, it was emotional, but come on. I mean, look what you're doing to the kids up there in the booth. They wish they got hurt earlier. That's a bit over the top. That was a bit dramatic.
Yeah, I like that one though. I wish I broke my leg earlier. I love, sons of bitches.
Yeah, I do love Jordan Travis. I love it, but that's hilarious. It's like, come on, love these poor kids. What do we tell these kids? Tell these kids that the fucking money runs the world.
And Andrew's still arguing this. Do you honestly believe Florida State can handle Bama? Andrew, what the fuck? Why does it matter? What does it matter what we think? Sports aren't what we think.
Right.
Vegas thought Oregon was going to be a 10-point favorite over Washington. Georgia was a 6-point favorite over Bama. They thought wrong. Thought wrong. Sports are meant to be settled on the field, bro. Like, what the fuck kind of...
I didn't think Auburn could handle Bama, but they sure did. They should have won. I mean... Whatever.
That's incredibly.
Yes, Bama's a better team right now, but that doesn't beat.
We think. Right. I can tell you this: Florida State's better than Auburn right now,
for sure.
And Auburn should have beat Alabama 10 days ago.
And it's just not out of the realm of a good defense winning 2 games or whatever the fuck. This invitational, and it's not a playoff. It's a stupid fucking invitational.
I can tell you this, Andrew. I think Oregon could beat Alabama right now. I think Ohio State could beat Alabama right now. Mm-hmm. So what does that mean? Should they be in?
Yeah.
Should they be in?
Arizona could beat fucking Alabama right now.
Arizona's red hot.
They are red hot. They're the hottest team in the country. I wouldn't want to play them. Who would they play? They're playing Oklahoma.
Actually, the hottest team in the country, believe it or not, is Florida State. They are the last team. If you look at last season, if you look at last season, they have the longest win streak in America since Georgia lost to Bama.
I love all this is possible because some stockbroker, the Dabo Swinney, called down to kick for him. Shanked a 25-yarder.
That's a great point too.
I'm not a believer in this Florida. I'm only a believer in this Florida State team because they got snubbed. I mean,
I've been a skeptic.
I like them. They're fine.
I've been a skeptic.
I tell you what, their defense has definitely brought it up. They haven't been playing like that all year.
I've been a skeptic of Florida State all year, but I've also been a skeptic of Alabama all year.
Sure.
I've also been a skeptic of Texas all year. And Washington, even. Washington, been there barely beating Stanford. I'm just like, I don't know about Washington. I mean, really, all of them. Michigan and Georgia were the only ones we didn't know because they didn't play anybody.
Yeah, Michigan played absolutely nobody. And people are saying they have a strength. Their strength schedule is terrible.
Yeah, I mean, Bama couldn't even beat Texas at home. Texas beat them by double digits in Tuscaloosa. That is the best win of the season. Don't let them sprinkle that shit that Bama beating Georgia is the best win. No, it is not. Texas, and I fucking hate Texas. If you've listened to us over the years, there's not a school on the planet I hate more than Texas. They went into Tuscaloosa and won very convincingly.
Yep.
The whole game, really.
And this is a team that should have lost to K-State, lost to Houston.
And they played 7 backup quarterbacks.
They lost to our fucking Rice squad, for God's sake.
Yeah, it was 10-10 with Wyoming in the 4th quarter. But they get a pass?
I know.
Fuck out of here.
Wyoming, that's what I meant. Not the right. They blew out.
Rice was like 17-17, I think, at one point, right? But JT Daniels got injured. But I guess you got to forecast that in. I don't even know if I should claim, it's a backup quarterback.
Player availability. It's in our bylaws. ESPN made sure we did it.
What a ridiculous system, man. Anyone that thinks the college football regular season is a playoff is a fucking lunatic, man.
I know
Just,
it makes every game matter. I love those because the arguments they do. That's what they do for the arguments for.
Yeah.
Well, if you expand the playoffs in regular season, it means nothing. No, it means nothing now.
Yeah.
It
The whole
means
check this out.
absolutely nothing.
We have 14 teams in the ACC, and Notre Dame's a fringe one. That
Mhm.
that season meant nothing for that entire conference. Also, what did Alabama Texas prove? Nothing.
Right.
They shouldn't even play the fucking game. Shouldn't even play the game. Folks, I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by Bet Rivers. Bet Rivers available in over 14 states, plus Ontario, Canada. Folks, Toronto, last time I checked, resides in Ontario. Just in case you're out there checking out a Blue Jays game in the spring. In case you're listening back to this, Bet Rivers has some of the best live betting markets in the space. Their betting menu is second to none, including a ton of props. So sign up using our link to get a risk-free bet up to $500. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betrivers. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betrivers. Probably gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, we are back on the college football experience. Yeah, I mean that's one of my favorite ones though. Is like, well, they didn't look at it. They only passed for 55 yards. All right, they only passed. Okay, well, I mean,
but I'm saying like now you're judging that game only. Like these these games and these
so
teams.
stupid.
There's so many more they look bad.
It's so
like,
stupid because you have the you have just so many levels of it. Like, okay, Stanford almost beat Washington. Stanford literally dropped the pass.
Oh, Washington was horrible the last couple months.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But
that one's
they
okay.
definitely should have lost to Arizona State at home.
Yes, and Stanford, I would say those two stand out. Texas definitely should have lost to Houston.
Yeah,
like that was a phony spot that they didn't review. I mean, shit. I think you can argue Alabama should have lost to Georgia. That ball's incomplete.
No, that ball was incomplete. Absolutely, it was
I think if you're
gross.
a Georgia Bulldog fan, you're sitting there saying, "What the fuck?" Yes, we didn't play our best game, but 3 huge penalties.
Right.
That was not a horse collar. That was an incomplete pass on the biggest play of the game. And there's some questionable pass interference calls, I thought. But I'm no Georgia fan, you know.
No, I know. And people just want them out. They went from like 1 to 7. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
but I'm saying like you can dive into like
we're sick of them. People were just like sick. I'm like, all right, you're out. You lost. You lost by a field goal on a missed field goal.
But you know, don't act like Alabama and South Florida weren't in a fucking barn burner there with 3 minutes left. South Florida, the Bulls of the AAC.
But Milroe was being suspended for disciplinary reactions, and then he's a different quarterback. Before he was lost, but now he's blind. Now he can see.
Oh man!
What do you think about the reactions? That was kind of funny though.
The Michigan reaction.
The Michigan reaction. That wasn't we're surprised. That was now we got a problem. That's what that was. I thought we were going to steamroll a 3rd string quarterback with Florida State, like we've been having our luck box season all year.
And by the way, whoever released that to me, get him off the fucking.
I know.
Now we got a problem.
They did not seem like they were excited to play Alabama. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, when I did do a deeper dive into that video.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the players. It looked like some of your GAs and stuff.
Okay.
Like
I can see that.
It looked like guys, if maybe kickers. Like it just looked like someone that was not a. If you look at the couple of player reactions.
Yeah.
But also, did you see Florida State's reaction? You see Mike Norvell going like this.
Florida State. You're right. I mean, it's just what it is. It's just so funny because like. Everyone's like, well, the committee's not going to turn down Florida State. All right. Big 5 committee. But then you realize they don't care if the ACC's mad at them. They don't know what they don't care. There's no accountability. You know what I mean? This committee is just fine. And then the only thing that matters is keeping the SEC and the ESPN and these people happy.
Have you been seeing the Mike Leach thing that went viral?
Of course. Yeah.
I mean, he's the best. He hit the nail on the fucking head a long time ago. You had fucking like Condoleezza Rice on this committee. You got people on this committee that are like school presidents that have literally nothing to do with the sport of football.
Is Condi Rice still on that committee?
No, she's off now, but they still have ones that you're just like, huh?
Right.
If you go and look, you just be like, this makes no sense. And I will admit that Boo Corrigan is an NC State athletic director. I told you can never put your hands in the fate of NC State people. All right, telling you, if I got shot in the face and I was if I got the ambulance pulls up and they're put me in the back of the ambulance, and while I'm going to the hospital, the guy tells me he's he's an NC State grad. I'm fucked. I'm dead. I'm dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wasn't surprised to see that, but what a fucking sham. What a fucking sham, man. On like they failed us. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm glad I've known this for a long time.
Right.
And it was always kind of a little bit more discreet. It's out there. You know, this is all crooked as shit. And yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, people argued when UCF claimed national championship. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Right.
Every team to me. So let's say hypothetically here that Alabama or Texas wins the national championship.
Yeah.
They'd be sitting there with one loss. Every single team that had one loss or an undefeated record, like if I'm Liberty, if I'm Ohio State, if I'm Georgia or Florida State, the winner of that game, maybe even the loser, I'm claiming a national championship. Yeah. And it like I said, if they want to hit us up, I will give you. We're a publication. I will give you documentation that says
we'll print something up. We'll make
you go through the history of college football. You don't have to go that far back. There's some phony national championships from like the.
How about when Alabama beat LSU? The year LSU beat them, like in Alabama. Yeah. Then they lose a revenge game. That's their only loss
on a neutral.
Right, on a neutral.
Yeah.
Well, why the fuck are you champs?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, we beat you. We split.
There's one I think in I could be off a year or two here. I want to say it's 1971 where Texas loses the national championship game to Notre Dame. So Texas was 11-0. Notre Dame's 10-1. They had never played in the regular season. They play the national championship. Notre Dame fucks them up. Texas claims the national championship because they have the same record and it's on their fucking thing. It's on their stadium. So, and Alabama's got some that are from like the Wheaton County newspaper Observer.
Yeah, I love
you know what I mean? Like,
I love it. AP voted national champ. You know what? I'm on board. Roll damn tide. Let's do this. Let's roll damn tide. Let's get ourselves a national champion.
selling 150 papers
Tuscaloosa Times says we're champs.
So I would own it. That's what I'm saying. Like this hasn't changed. I mean, this sport's been like this for a long time, but yeah, we got Army Navy this week. Are you excited for that? At least that.
I love the Army Navy.
That's a rivalry.
It's literally one of my favorite games of the year. I used to go every year.
Really?
Yep. It's in Philadelphia. Used to go to the vet. Used to watch them come in, march in formations. You know, you go in hours early. They come in. It's awesome. They come in their formations. They do whatever. They do what they do. And then they go up to their sections in formations. And it's all in the grays and the blues. And then all game, they do like comedy skits. That's why I got into comedy. I used to love the fucking like
Army Navy got you into comedy.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. I used to be just as excited as that as the game as a kid. You know, a little kid, they would always do fucking each other's mascot and comedy skits on video and then live shit. You know, and yeah, we'd sit up high and it was just an amazing game. It was something my dad would always take us to.
That rivalry, you know, I think Ohio State and Michigan kind of gets like all the credit for like the best rivalry. I'll put Army Navy in there.
It's amazing.
All day.
And it's something you do have to experience live. It's incredible live experience.
I've never been, but I would like to go.
They would always switch that. And then recently they've been switching it up. They threw it in Annapolis one. You go fuck yourself.
Dude, they're doing FedEx next year.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Fuck.
No
one wants to go to FedEx.
Absolutely
I grew up in DC.
Right.
Dude, I was home. I was home a couple years ago.
Perfect because it's in the middle of fucking Annapolis and West Point.
Yeah.
And it's Philadelphia.
It's a good spot.
It's the real birth of America.
Hey, there we go. I mean? Fucking Bill of Rights, baby.
Right? Constitution, old goddamn thing.
No, you're right.
It's a great game. Over under 27.5.
Love the under.
Love the under. the military.
Iowa, by the way, did cash for us on the under.
I know.
That fumble, though, I thought our over.
Yeah.
Their running back fumbled at the 29-yard line. That was a field goal, and then we would have hit our.
I had Iowa
over
plus,
half a
I had
point.
Iowa plus 24 early number. Harbaugh kicks a 50-yarder with 3 minutes to go to make it 26-0. Good for you. Good for you, Harbaugh.
That Iowa fumble killed me because I had a wager of over a half a point.
Good God. I had under 7.5 first quarter. It's 3-0.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
95-yard punt return. Tackled at the one. Great hustle.
Great hustle.
Great
hustle. That's a Ferentz coach team. That's a Ferentz coach team.
I will say that. I thought I was going to save it, but no, they walk right in next play. But all that hustle for nothing. The plight of the hustler. That being said, if Al-Qaeda, any of our enemies ever learn how to stop the option, we're fucked. Because our military can do is triple option.
That's
you
true.
Know what I mean?
That's true. And that's one element of Florida State thing that's hilarious too.
Right.
The University of Saudi Arabia. I mean, University of Florida State. You know what I mean? Because they bought that team with all portal players.
Yeah, I love it.
There is something hilarious about that. Army Navy this weekend. Excited for that.
I am very excited for that, and I'll take that under 27.5, and I'll enjoy that game.
Yeah, I love that game. And we also got some fire FCS playoff matchups. We're going to talk about
Albany. How about Albany?
Great Danes. Reese Poffenberger.
My ticket is live, 40-1. You put me on them.
Told you.
I took them. Still great. The Great Danes. I also took a -8. Bad number, but I didn't need it because they buried Richmond.
Yeah, they didn't even sweat, buddy.
41-13.
Didn't even fucking sweat. You little spiders coming up to Albany, New York. Thinking you're going to get a dub.
Come on.
So this week, I was a little bit like, so Idaho should have lost to Southern Illinois. So this is a great spot for Albany.
Mm-hmm.
So Southern Illinois missed a game-winning field goal. Like they were kind of up the whole game, and Idaho storms back, wins it in overtime. Kibbe Dome is a filthy dome, but it does get lit. Albany's going to beat their ass, I think, though. I think that's a good draw for Albany.
Good
draw for Albany. I'm telling you, it's a nice setup. We got Friday night, Furman, Montana. We got Saturday, Villanova at South Dakota State, and then North Dakota State. Which, by the way, did you see how North Dakota State won?
Blocked extra point.
Blocked extra point.
That's incredible.
North Dakota State heading to Vermillion, take on the Coyotes of South Dakota, and that was a bit of a shocker. But the Montana game was in a fucking blizzard. I don't know that I've ever seen a snowstorm that bad in the middle of a football game. It was awesome. Sold out the fucking place too. That's what I'm talking about. All these people that say, "Kid, you gotta have a dome. What happens in bad weather?" No, Montana was in a fucking blizzard, and that they set an attendance record. Let's go.
It's incredible. I know.
Anyway, I feel like we should touch a little college basketball before we get out of here. We're going to transfer.
Sure,
people have
let's
asked
do
us.
it.
People have asked us.
Is there any transfer portal bowl lines you want to get into as well?
Yeah. Actually, we should talk about that and here's another fail by college football. Hey, if the coach leaves and the players leave, we should try to pair up those bowl teams. Perfect example. Look at Oregon State. So Oregon State, Jonathan Smith leaves, right?
Yep.
Their coordinators are now, for the most part, almost every coordinator is or coaching position coach is at Michigan State with Jonathan Smith, except their DC, right? Who's now the head coach at Oregon State. So their entire staff is pretty much at Michigan State. DJU is in the portal. That's their starting quarterback. Their backup quarterback, Aiden Childs, the big time recruit, he's in the portal. Damian Martinez is out for the bowl game. What are we doing here? This is what I mean. If you're honoring a bowl game, so we, in my opinion, this is where the Bulls fail us too. Once again, no one is behind the wheel in the NCAA or these conference commissioners, because we should be pairing Oregon State with, say, Texas A&M, because they don't have a head coach. You know what I mean? Like, like Elko's not going to be like Jimbo Fisher is fired, or pair him with Duke or something. Instead, we have them Oregon State's taking on Notre Dame. Okay. We're going to see the third string starting quarterback, assuming he doesn't transfer, which he might, could be the fourth string starting quarterback. They make these games so fucking useless. Right now they're catching 11. I'm going to tell you this right now. Hammer the fuck out of Notre Dame. Oregon State's got nobody. Nobody.
That's incredible.
That's a lock right now. I'm telling you, go there and bet that right now. Oregon State's going to be starting like your fucking fourth string starting
Some of these
quarterback.
matchups make
Yeah.
no sense too.
You got to love the Rutgers-Miami matchup.
Rutgers, Miami, Wisconsin, LSU. What are we doing?
You know what they could have done? They could have done UCF Miami. Oh my God, that'd be fucking compelling, right? LSU, Wisconsin, horrible fucking game. They could have done LSU, Ohio State. They could have done LSU, Miami. They could have done LSU, and I don't know, Oklahoma State.
Right.
Could have done a lot of other things. Wisconsin is not deserving of that. LSU was way better than them this year. Wisconsin should be playing the likes of like fucking, I don't know, like put Wisconsin against like a 6-6 team in the Big 12, maybe. I don't know. Put Wisconsin against Boston College. That's something that I feel like is should happen.
Right.
And they gave SMU Boston College. SMU just SMU. That's how bad they hate SMU. They're like, you know what? We're gonna give you Boston College.
That's gross.
Go to the Fenway Bowl.
That's horrible.
Go to the fucking Fenway Bowl and take on Boston College.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, SMU should be playing like a much better team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and how about this? If you're not gonna do this, SMU Texas A&M would be pretty awesome because you know they fucking hate each other. But no, they don't do that. They don't do that. They can't even give us SMU against like anyone intriguing. Like even SMU Boise State would be intriguing. They fail.
But Boise State's coming to the LA Bowl out here in SoFi.
That's one of the ones I don't hate.
Yeah. Versus UCLA.
I don't hate that game.
I like that
because they recruit a lot in LA.
The Gronk presented LA Bowl.
Yeah. What does that even mean?
They just signed their interim coach.
So did Gronk buy into that?
I don't know what's going on. It's like Shacktober. His name is out there. He'll be out there fucking, I don't know, doing keg stands in the 50-yard line and shit.
One of the worst. I actually vote this one the worst bowl game. Auburn and Maryland.
Auburn, Maryland. Good God. That is pretty nasty.
And the funniest part is we're going to watch all of these.
I'm going to watch every single one of them. And I'm going to watch Alabama, Michigan. I'm going to watch everything and not care.
Well, that's the ultimate contradiction.
And say, thank God this is the matchup.
Every year I say it. Every year I say it when the playoffs come out. I go, I'm not watching. I quit.
No, of course.
And now but then after a couple days of no football, you're like, I can't wait for that fucking game. I can't wait for that game.
They know they got us. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So you're saying pound Notre Dame right now.
Dude, that is such a lock. Like that line's going to go. I think it's going to close at like 21.
Come on.
They don't realize who's not playing for them.
I see it at 10.5 right now. What about Arizona's at 3.5? That was at a pick 'em.
I got to see who's opting out. You see, that's a huge, like SMU starting quarterback. Not only is he injured, but he hit the portal. He hit the portal too.
Yeah.
So like, you got to pay attention to like, okay, we know USC, Caleb Williams isn't playing, right? Drake May, I'm assuming is going to opt out for North Carolina. They play West Virginia. He hasn't announced it yet, but we know Michael Pratt's out for Tulane. That means Virginia Tech, and Tulane doesn't have their coaching staff now.
All right.
It's all a fucking mess. It's all a mess. It's all a fucking.
But Oklahoma
mess.
Without what's his face and her terror.
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel's in the portal. No, their backup's a stud. Jackson Arnold. That's why he hit the portal.
Okay.
That's why he hit the portal.
All right, I'll take this Arizona off my ticket right now.
Yeah, take that one off right now.
Even though they be my national champs right now. Who do you think's national champion, real quick?
Like in those matchups, or who do I think the best team is?
Of the four.
Okay.
of the ones we can actually.
Isn't this the best?
Not a virtual.
It's like in the playoffs. Well, okay, but they're not. That's not the best team in the nation.
In the ESPN Invitational.
Yes,
who do you think's going to win the ESPN Invitational?
I think I am so intrigued by that Washington Texas game. That was a bowl game a year ago. Washington kind of put it on.
I have a Washington future ticket. And a Pennix, and I should say my Pennix ticket, and I put this out there beforehand. I go, if Washington beats Oregon, a good way to play is to play Pennix at 25-1 to win the Heisman, at 18-1, thinking
Washington got hosed though, because they should have been the 1 seed.
Somehow, I know. Well, somehow they beat Oregon, and Pennix didn't really vault his Heisman stock that much at all because his numbers weren't all that great. You're right. Yeah. I mean, it was ridiculous. So now Jalen Daniels is a minus 1,400 favorite, and fucking and Pennix is at Pennix is at 7-1. So my ticket's worth
which
more.
Which is even more hilarious though if Jalen Daniels wins, because then you're like, Florida State beat the piss out of the Heisman Trophy.
The Heisman Trophy is everywhere. I'm tilted on that, by the way. I'm like. I don't know how they still don't give Pennix credit. It's incredible.
It's a West Coast bias, dude. I grew up on the East Coast, but there's
I will say
it's
that-
legit.
I will say Texas does look like the best team, though. But I
think that's
worry,
a bad matchup for them.
I think it's a bad match for them, but I also worry about them. And if they do a revenge game versus Alabama, you just see how those revenge games work. It's hard to beat a team twice, as we ran down as we ran down the lineup of the conference championship games.
Man, Texas hasn't played many good quarterbacks, right? The best quarterback they've played all year is Dylan Gabriel. They lost that game. Texas's secondary, even in that Oklahoma State blowout. Now, credit to Texas offense because they were getting like 10 yards of play on Oklahoma. I feel like Oklahoma State. I mean, but if you rewatch that game, Alan Bowman misses. There's guys open all the fucking time in that second. And so to me, when you're playing Washington with Michael Pennix and 3 NFL wideouts, I'm like, okay, well, maybe Texas's offense, that's going to be a track meet, and maybe that's how Texas wins the game. But I definitely think Washington's going to eat on that secondary.
Okay, do it.
So they're getting points too, right?
Oh, they're getting 6.
Yeah, I'm all over the Huskies. Now the other one. What is that line on the other one?
That's a 1 point game.
I would actually lean Michigan, but not by
I
much.
think Michigan's been looking bad.
I
do not think they look good.
But I don't think Alabama looked great.
Yeah, I mean Alabama's definitely playing better though.
Yeah,
they were
for 1 week
season. Yeah,
I mean, not the Auburn game.
Not the Auburn game. They did smack the shit out of Kentucky. Though.
Now I do worry about Michigan's offensive line.
The Kentucky team that beat Louisville.
True. But I mean, New Mexico State did beat the piss out of Auburn.
True. Knee bone is connected to the fucking wrist bone. All these college teams are garbage. Anyway, let's wrap it up.
Wait. So if I need to know more about Michigan's offensive line health. I know they had some injuries. They did not look good against Iowa, and obviously Bama can win that.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this: Bama hasn't played that many good quarterbacks. If you add in that Jalen Daniels was knocked out in the second half,
no, you're exactly right. And they stopped the run.
McCarthy,
they stopped the run well.
McCarthy might be the best quarterback they've played besides Quinn Ewers.
Mm-hmm.
And Quinn Ewers beat him.
I agree. I'm not a McCarthy fan though.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily either, but I don't know. I mean, I think Alabama, Michigan is kind of a toss up. And then I lean Washington with the points. But another thing is that's at the Superdome. Let's talk about this. Washington got completely fucked. They had the best resume. They should be the 1 seed.
They should be the 1 seed. They should be in the Rose Bowl.
Yes. And that would be their advantage. They would have the crowd. Now they're playing in New Orleans. Guess Austin, Texas is not that far from New Orleans.
Washington was in the best conference.
Yes.
The best
resume.
And they go undefeated, and it means nothing. It really means nothing.
They have to essentially go on the road.
Yeah.
That's going to be a Texas crowd.
Of course it is.
So stupid.
No.
All right, look, before we get out of here, I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Look, Underdog Fantasy has a way to play alongside your favorite fantasy players all season long. They got NFL, they got NBA, they got NHL, they got college hoops and college football. Somebody pick higher or lower in your favorite players' fantasy stats and cash in, people. So watch along, make picks, and maybe make a little extra cash over on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com, when you sign up with the promo code TCESGPN, folks. Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Buying tickets to your favorite event shouldn't be that stressful. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater that is near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll be having at that very event. So, snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Game Time tickets make the perfect holiday gift. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that promo code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, terms apply. Create that account, redeeming code CFBX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, we are back. So what is the bowl game? Not including the Invitational, the ESPN Invitational,
right,
that you want to see most? Because it's hard to, this is really tricky because everyone's going to want to say Florida State, Georgia. But once you see the opt-outs, I don't think that's going to be the one. You have to find a smaller one where you don't think the players will opt out.
Absolutely right. You have to see a fun one. I mean,
but even like JMU, obviously they don't have their coaching staff now. That game, what were they doing with Utah and Northwestern? Are they trying to make these matchups terrible? I mean, do you have any interest in seeing you? I mean, we're going to watch it.
Utah Northwestern.
That is, I fell asleep.
That's in Vegas, though, right?
is.
I kind of want to see what those Shrek fuckers do in Vegas and bringing all them into town.
A lot of car washes.
Yeah, I don't understand that game at all. Who cares? Who gives a damn?
And now you have like Kansas UNLV, but UNLV starting quarterback just hit the portal.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas has lost their offensive coordinator to Penn State. What the fuck are we doing here?
Who entered the portal?
UNLV starting quarterback.
Oh my god!
And Kansas offensive coordinator is now at Penn State.
College football. Way to go. Way to go.
I'm trying to find the one game where you don't have implications on the portal. It's going to be hard. If I had to guess, you want to know. Because look, San Jose State's taking on Coastal Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Grayson McCall's in the portal. Maybe.
How about Penn State Ole Miss?
But they fired their
Something.
I would expect.
Something's going to happen for sure.
Well, you're going to have some players opt out, right? Because they're going to have first round draft picks on those rosters. That's what I'm saying. You're going to have opt outs. You want your small. You want your Toledo, Wyoming. That's what I'm saying. That one.
Yeah, you want
might be your one. You got to find the one where the coaching staff's intact.
I hear you.
And the players are like
Toledo, Wyoming. Let's lock it in.
There you go. Game of the best bowl game out there. Toledo, Wyoming, folks.
That should be in Wyoming too.
I know, or just play it somewhere cool, somewhere fucking cool. Just what are they playing that Arizona? I don't know.
All right.
You got any college basketball plays for tomorrow before we get out of here? As my East Carolina Pirates are taking on Maryland Eastern Shore. I got to go watch my Pirates that are struggling against Eastern Shore. Tomorrow's a loaded day, man. College basketball. You got the UConn North Carolina game in Madison Square Garden. You also that's a double header. The first matchup is Florida Atlantic Illinois. Super excited to watch that.
Yeah, I like Florida Atlantic.
I do too. But I was thinking if we had any yappers out there, Kim English and Providence hitting the road to Norman, Oklahoma, take on Porter Moser and the Sooners. You also have how about Wisconsin getting 4.5? Big Ten play. Itties Lansing.
Yeah, I got to fade Wisconsin after their big Marquette win.
Yeah, me too. Indiana going to Ann Arbor.
Well, I can get talked into that one for sure. I'm not as high on
I got
Michigan.
the one for you.
All right.
Grand Canyon is catching 3 at home against San Diego State, who played in the national championship. You seen that Grand Canyon crowd?
Dude, I have a Grand Canyon future that I'm sitting on to win the Natty, baby.
They need to start their football program because they're fucking their fan base. Those places are fucking bananas. Have you watched the game?
I love that I love that Grand Canyon squad. They're picking up 3.5.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a joke.
Ride that money line.
Yep.
Ride that money line.
There it is.
Folks, stay tuned. College basketball experience every single night of the season, folks. We don't take any nights off.
Nope.
Check us out tonight. 9:00, or actually, no, I think we're going to go live earlier. 7:00 Pacific, maybe 6:30 Pacific, somewhere around there. Stay tuned. And remember, this is part of the C block. We got the bottom line bombs coming up next. Boom.
Anyone here, subscribe to the Bottom Line Bombs. Stay tuned in 10 minutes. Doing the show, picking right up, man, the box coming up. Recapping NFL weekend, of course, and all the bombs. I'll talk a little bit more of my college takes as well.
Bet detective on the case.
Little bet detective on the case. A little Dallas recap. A lot of
What'd you think of that coach for the Eagles?
Big Dom, you talking about security Dom?
Yeah, we're gonna get not coach. Yeah, security.
Head of security.
Yeah,
Big Dom. Love Big Dom. We'll be talking Big Dom. There might be listen, I brought some stuff in. Whatever. We might have an exclusive interview with Big Dom.
Oh, there we go.
I'm just
folks, stay tuned to the C block and the Bottom Line Bobs with CJ Sullivan. Give him a follow on Twitter at CJ Sullivan _. Look, if you're watching on YouTube, right there, boom, right there. That's a bomb for you.
Yes.
I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. The college football experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Don't worry, we got Army Navy coverage and the FCS playoffs coverage. FCS playoff podcast going live in a little bit too. So stay tuned. All right. Until next time, this is the college football experience. College football playoff bombs episode. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot.